Hello and welcome to Module 6, where we look at selling overseas. Now this module is part of a larger theme, and that is inventory management and cash flow. One of my main roles as CEO of the company is to find new avenues to sell. Unlike information products with e-commerce of physical goods, you will have inventory of some description and you will need to be shifting it as fast as you can, not just to generate cash but also to clear up space in wherever you're storing the goods. The business is like a river, it needs to flow and you want as little stagnant water as you can. So enter selling overseas. Sites such as Amazon and eBay give you the ability to sell outside of your own country in one of two ways. Firstly, is you can have a standard listing on Amazon or eBay in whichever country you're from and let overseas buyers find you that way. Secondly, you can have a listing in the native country into which you want to list. For example, Amazon France, which will be much more effective for selling into that country, as most people search on their own country's websites. So some overseas websites can be less competitive as well, and there's a lot of price differentiation. So it's definitely worth checking. So as we said, it's important for inventory management, and also there's an element of price arbitrage. So let's have a look at some examples of this. If you remember, in previously we checked bakeware in ebay.com. So let's have a look again to see that one. And if you recall, we looked at that listing here of the silicone cupcakes previously in ebay.com. So they're selling for $3.51. So we go into eBay France and we key on silicone So you'd have a similar sort of products, 12 silicone cupcakes. So these are selling for €3.47 as opposed to $3.51. So the exchange rate is about $1.02. So what we have is essentially a listing here that's selling for $4.16. as opposed to the American listing for $3.51. Now there's a lot of examples like this. So another one here is there's a one that I found earlier. There's something that's quite popular is this earring here that's selling. It's like a climbing man earring, and that's selling for $1.50 plus $1.50 shipping. That's €3. However, in Germany, so this is basically inverted here. So in Germany, for a similar listing, we have this selling for €1, which is less than half the price. So granted, it's selling from Hong Kong. However, you can see the sort of price differentiation. And there will be thousands of examples like this. So, but really, there are two things that you would need to consider. Price arbitrage is good, but obviously there are some possible pitfalls you might want to be aware of. The first one is postage costs. So it'll be more expensive to send the goods to another country, although the differences aren't necessarily that large always. For example, within the EU, we pay about £1.30 extra. However, we can send both letters and large letters. Sorry, we can't sell. We can't send even letters and large letters. Everything has to be parcel. So even smaller goods are costed at £3.40. So this is an example of where you need to really know the ins and outs of the postage system. Otherwise, you'll get stung with extra charges. The other thing is what I would call cultural differences. So there are some countries in Europe, to which, no disrespect, I just wouldn't send to. The postal system is bad. There's lots of complaints about not receiving the goods, and these are ones which I personally avoid. So where I concentrate on is certainly in Europe. These are sorry. It's not just in Europe. It's if you look at the list of top destinations. This is an eBay stat, but it would hold true for Amazon and some other websites as well. I personally stick to these. I know that it's a safe environment, and it gives me a lot of added income. We make currently about 10% of our sales using overseas websites, and that's about £100,000 or $150,000 annually, which isn't to be sniffed at. Now, there's another website that's worth a look at for selling overseas, and that's called Taobao. That's Taobao. It's a subsidiary of Alibaba and the 8th most popular website in the world according to Alexa. Now, I think it's a great website to list on due to the sheer volume of business that is done on it. But one thing we don't want to be doing is sell cheap commoditized products on there, because we can't compete on price. And so the knack is to list things which are basically, they utilize the fact that Chinese consumers are very brand conscious, for example. So some ideas would be quintessential British goods, anything that is trending fashion wise, handmade goods, engraving, funny quoted t-shirts and stickers, and really any other ideas you may have. Now this leads us on to the end of module 6,